Alright guys, I figured I'd make a video of installing the cold air intake. This should be the same for 5.7, 6.1, 6.2, 6.4. This is a 6.4 392 2015 plus. It should work for all models, Chargers, Challenger, all the newer redesigned ones. And as long as you're replacing this part with an open element filter, then this should apply to your car. I'm gonna try and make it as quick as possible. I don't want to take you through all the 32 steps that Canaan lists to put it together. We're just gonna take it for what it is. You got it out the box, so you should be able to put it on your car. Shouldn't be that hard. And I already pre-installed some parts, and we're just gonna get started. So what I've pre-installed is I have the shield already. Okay, this rubber surround is cut to fit. You just push it on, you cut it at the ends, and this is a little bump stop. You want to install that. The velocity stack is screwed in. On this side it's screwed in along with the coupler. Okay, and I already put the clamps on there and the L bracket, which is another mount for the shield. Okay, so we got that done. And then you got the Canaan filter itself. Okay, I put on the clamp for that. And then you have your the tube part, the intake tube. On the bottom, the air intake temperature sensor goes right here. And then this is for the breather box. And then we have the clamps installed with the coupler, the reducer coupler right here. So this is the basic parts of the intake system. And that's all you need. You can have that pre-installed and you're ready to go. Other than that, you're looking at like a 5-minute job, as you're about to tell. So the first thing you want to do is you want to loosen the clamps. So you want to loosen this one, loosen that one. You can pull out your air intake temperature sensor, okay, and you just want to feed that straight down so it's out the way. Then also you have a 8mm bolt right here that's mounting the intake down. So you want to take that off. And you can set that aside. You want to take off your valve cover, and that gives you access to the breather box, which is this right here. So this tube you want to pull off, okay, and get it out the way. And then this is actually ready to come out. As long as this is loose, you can pull the whole unit out you can just pull it all out. So you want to grab onto it, pull this back, that way that part's free. Grab onto it and start to pull up, jiggle a little bit, and then your box is off. I also want to show you the design that that's made on these is actually pretty efficient already. It goes all the way down to it's in between the wheel well and the front bumper is where it pulls the air from. There's no direct air flowing straight to here, but it's actually just pulling out cool air. It's not in the engine bay, it's not hot air, it's actually just cool static air that is pulling out, which is actually pretty good for a design. So the filter's right down here, it's just sucking up the air, boom. We'll take that off. Then what you want to do, and actually I'll show you how it's pulling the air and like why I like the different kind of intakes that they have. Like the leg maker, I think is actually a better product than a regular open element filter. But I have different plans, so I'm not gonna stay NA for long. And since I'm not, this is why I chose this filter. So I just wanted to show you where the stock air box already hooks into. And it's gonna be this area right here, the little triangle. It actually mounts onto there, and you're sucking all your air straight from this bottom pan. And down there is actually it's just plastic. It's part of the wheel well housing, and that other duct that you see down there, if I could get some light in there, that duct that you see straight down, that actually is air that's pulled from the front, and then that cools the brakes. So there's no flowing air down there, it's just static air. And that's where you're pulling all your air from with the stock air box. I like the design of the leg maker because it actually puts the filter down there and so that's why your intake temperatures are still low. And any other cold air intake that mounts on the top, like the one I'm about to put on and the Mopar one, you're still, how do you say it? You're still getting air, and it's going to be fresh air rather than static air if you're going to be doing the like the little Hellcat mod. See how I have that where the air just flows straight through. So you can put that that Hellcat duct on there also. That comes straight from the headlight, and that goes right into the filter housing as well. And that really doesn't pressurize the system, so you're not forcing air in there, but it does help give you cooler air. But then again, when it rains, you're still getting, your filter is going to get a little bit of wetness, and nothing to hydrolock the motor, but it's just you're going for aesthetics with the filter that's right on top. That leg maker is going to get you cooler air that's not affected by the engine temp at all, versus the one that sits up here. Yes, you're going to block it out, but I mean, this kind of, you know, this kind of blocks off the hot air that's going to be coming through the motor. But in my opinion, it's better to keep the air coming from down there. But I didn't buy a leg maker, so this is what I'm going to deal with. I wanted the Canaan because it had proven dyno numbers, and that's what I decided to go with. And I also did, you know, the little Hellcat air hole, so that's also going to give me fresh air when I'm on the track. I feel like that's going to be better for me. And if I decide to pro charge it, all that shit goes out the window, because now your filter is going to be over here by the valve cover, and you're just pulling in hot air for there. I don't know if they'll ever make a cold air, if there's even room for you to get your air from a different place with a pro charger, but that would be my goal, is to pro charge it, not supercharge it. And that's just what I think about that. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is slide this in. The bump stop is gonna go in the hole by the radiator reservoir, and then this little L bracket goes right here on the mount. There we go, that is in there. Then you got that on, and I'm not gonna bolt that in yet. We're just gonna leave it like that. And this is how it's actually, when the hood is closed, this is where it's trying to section off the heat from the rest of the motor, and just putting it right here. This is where you're gonna get your air from, which is still gonna be static air. If you don't modify anything else, it's still static air. So it's not essentially a cold air intake, it's just an intake. Static air right here. A lot of people like to do the Hellcat modification, where you get the air coming from the headlight and through the little tube that actually goes right here, and then it goes right to the filter. But it's still not, that's not pressurized air also, but it is a better airflow. It could be cooler considering the day and the temperature at that time. But you're also gonna get air that, water that's gonna flow through there as well. But it's not essentially like, it's not pulling it straight from outside. It's not like a forced air coming into your intake. It's still gonna come, it's gonna sit right there, and then it's able to get into the motor. I like that idea. So I've also done the little, the pop out, so you can make it so you have the Hellcat style intake. Next, we're gonna take this tube, and I already have this on there. You had to screw this on like so. Gonna take it off and then screw it back on here. There we go. And then that is going to go onto the breather filter right here. You can slide that on, and that's also a cut to fit part that I've already cut. And then we're gonna slide this into there first. I kind of left this a little tight, so we can loosen this up. Good, so we put it in on that side. And then we're gonna grab that temperature sensor again, and it actually goes onto the bottom. There's that hole that I showed you, and you're gonna put that in there, and that's where it's gonna get the air temperature from. So that's in. And then I'm pushing on it that way so that I can get it onto the throttle body. There we go. So that's on the throttle body. And you get the position of this how you want it and get it just right. Like that. Kind of show that Canaan right there. Then you can tighten down all these clamps. Okay, I like mine all facing the same way and all accessible. So you tighten those down, tighten these down. Then we're gonna put on the filter, okay? Which should be self-explanatory. If you've gotten to this point already, you should know. You slide that on, you got the clamp, tighten down the clamp. Last part is gonna be the screw, and it comes with washers and a lock washer. So you wanna put a washer on, lock washer, and then another washer. That way when you screw it down, it will not go anywhere. You put that on, you tighten it down. Oh, and you know what? Messed that up. You want to have that on top. So there we go. The bracket has to be on top. There you go. And then you would tighten that down, and this would be all secure, ready to go. And then you put your valve cover back on. And that's it. Clean up your bay and you're done. That's cold air intake. Any Challenger Charger, quick and easy, done.